Hi, welcome. This is a update about my Supreme Court lawsuit and a recent discussion I had with someone about how I advertise. And I advertise by working already for you. I am trying and have been trying since I discovered the extent of the fraud in our election process. So I made first a lawsuit, which I've never done before. I'm not a lawyer. Back in 2022, when I was running for Congress from West Virginia. I tried to reach out to my governor and my Secretary of State and the Attorney General of West Virginia, and I got nowhere. So I had to turn to the courts. But sadly, I put too much in. So my recommendation for anybody else trying to write their own pro se lawsuits, less is more. On the other hand, I put it all in. And what ended up happening was over about 9 months, it got eventually rejected without prejudice. But I was too busy at that time to do anything, so I couldn't resubmit, and I didn't know how to do an appeal, and so I appealed it, but I did it wrong. But by doing it wrong and by doing it at all, and even though I put everything in, I got people's attention. I mean, not only did I do this lawsuit and attempt an appeal with it, but I also was all over the internet, and I was writing constantly to the governor and to all the governors and all the Secretary of States in all 50 states, because all 50 states are using this thing called registering to vote, and that's where the fraud is. And the Democrats and Republicans, they don't want to lose control, so they're working together to keep it that way. And it's unacceptable, unconstitutional, and it's an obstacle to your and my and all of our votes. And even for people who are running for office, they yield it. If you're not registered to vote, you can't be an official candidate in some states. So this is completely unacceptable. It's unconstitutional, and it needs to stop. So I'm talking to you today to address the fact that I have a lawsuit still pending with the Supreme Court. I did eventually get around to writing a second one, but I decided to take out the middleman of the smaller courts because at the time they didn't feel they had the right to make a judgment on it anyways. That's why it was returned to me. So, and the way the courts and the judges work is that they hope that you don't have time later and then you'll drop the whole subject altogether. They actually don't really want to work, so the less lawsuits that are given, the less work they have to do, right? So this is unacceptable the way our judicial system is working right now, and so never give up. Absolutely never give up. I haven't given up on my dream of a corruption-free or mostly corrupt-free election. That's my target with this first confrontation with corruption. I mean, there's so much more going on, as we've heard from the Trump administration, but this has got to stop because we do not even have rightfully in office people. They're illegally there because of fake names and all sorts of things that they do with that list. So it is time for the Supreme Court to act on my lawsuit. I'm going to be over there later today, and they need to do something because it's 2 years now. They've seen enough. They need to do something. They've had time. They know the answer. But I do say that when I did put everything in there, it scared all the states and all the Secretary of States and all the election divisions, and they had to go out and find out what's really going on. And that's why back in 24, we heard about 24 states coming forward explaining how many wrong names they had on their registering to vote list And like Texas had over 1 million. Other states had, you know, like 5,000 or something like that, but Texas had over 1 million fake names. California and New York have not submitted their information yet. Oregon just recently came out and said that they had 800,000, so that's almost 1 million too. Oregon. And then we have West Virginia that really kind of started it off for me when our Secretary of State came out and said we had 380,000 wrong names. Sorry, this is my hand that shakes. So there's no earthquake going on. It's just me. But they had over 380,000 wrong names in West Virginia, and we're not one of the bigger states. So I know a lot of the states are not telling the truth, and some are afraid to tell the truth, and some are ignoring the topic. But by putting it all in, they have slowly gone through my list of issues and tried to figure this out too. So somebody's working behind the scenes. I did report it to the FBI and to the CIA, because also this deals with votes from abroad. You know, 2 times I didn't vote from abroad, but yet I was told I voted in every election while I was overseas. So somebody voted for me in New York State. And now West Virginia, last election in 24, they threw out my vote because I wasn't registered to vote. So this registering to vote is an obstacle to U.S. citizens receiving their rights. And our right is not just to walk in the door and vote on a piece of paper and have it thrown out. Our right is to have that vote counted. It's our voice. You know, we only get one voice, and this is just not working, folks. There's too many fingers in the pot, too much greed and power mongering. So no. But then what else I wanted to, oh yeah, so anyway, don't give up. I'm already working for you, and I am still a presidential candidate. I have not conceded from 24, and I'm planning on running again in 28. But currently I'm in West Virginia, and I'm running for House of Delegates there as a write-in candidate in November. But for right now, I'm here in D.C. to protest the fact that the Supreme Court seems to have forgotten about my lawsuit. So I guess I have to remind them. And this is just unacceptable how justice works. You know, it's 2 years now, and it's just insane. So anyways, folks, if you want to find out more, it is Susan4USA.com. That's Susan the number 4, USA.com. I am Susan Maud Buchser-Lochocki, or Susan Buchser for short. And yeah, I wish you a nice day wherever you are. And it's the anniversary of the Supreme Court's first day of work from whenever they started. I don't know the actual year, but today is their day, their birthday kind of thing. All right, I wish you a good day. Take care. Bye.